15. The endless cycles of creation, wheels within wheels. Now let us summarize how a cycle of creation could look like. I will do it in list form, because, as we know, the logical mind wants to have everything organized. It's a 3D thing, but it helps us to better understand otherwise complicated subjects. The Mother Goddess creates something in what is easiest explained as a pond, consisting of 12 ripples, which can also be compared to sound waves. Each ripple is one universe. As far as we know, universes come in groups of 12. Each universe in a particular pond has its own overseer, beings evolved from previous universes, and the Mother Goddess is sitting on seat number 13, being the overseer of all the 12 universes, like a supervisor of sorts. The ripples eventually become round, like a sun or a planet, and is ready to start its expansion and to have intelligent life inserted into it. The goddess creates our universe from one of the ripples in the pond by lending her energy to it. The reason for her creation is to help her expand and become more self-aware. The Mother creates the dimensions and densities and the galaxies, nebulae, stars and planets in descending order. Each of these creations becomes a sentient, highly evolved being, born directly from the womb of the Mother, which is the center of the galaxies, respectively. She lets these evolved beings do their jobs and prepare for the next step in the evolution of this young universe. In the whole process, it is my understanding that the other 12 highly evolved creator gods, the overseers of the other 11 ripples universes, plus the new overseer of this particular one, are helping the Mother in her creation of this new universe. They are the builders. These creator gods are seeding the universe, panspermia, with the seeds for intelligent life. This initial seeding is being done on planets and planetoids, asteroids in different part of the universe. Life then evolves on planets in different galaxies, plus when asteroids and other heavenly bodies hit a lifeless planet, it may contain life-bearing seed and life eventually starts evolving on that planet as well. And so it goes on for a while. After millions or billions or years, a certain species evolves on a particular planet. When they have reached a certain level of understanding and spiritual awakening, they may choose to go out and explore the dimensions and densities. They have evolved freely, without that veil of amnesia. The builders, who helped the goddess create this particular universe we live in, are overseeing the process when a species evolves, or give them the tools so they can survive on their own. And if a 3D body dies in an accident and the soul avatar leaves the body, it knows right away how to take a new one as soon as one becomes available. In the beginning, before a soul group is evolved enough, the creator gods are overseeing the project and help out in the creation process until the species learn themselves how to do it, either by sexual reproduction or later on, by genetic engineering. Sometimes it happens that a species becomes warlike as a part of their development and they want to conquer, rather than explore space and its dimension. In that case, the species may mass produce, because they need the numbers to be able to overpower other races. This, however, is not necessarily the norm, but it happens. With time, such a species may come to their senses and start respecting life and creation as a whole, and as something beautiful, and the destructive pattern stops. When the species is evolved enough to understand the multiverse they live in, they may, as individuals of the soul group, or soul group as a whole, become appointed creator gods of their own. They then travel the dimensions and start seeding life, directed panspermia, 26 on different planets, often leaving their own imprints there. Before they start creating life on the chosen planet somewhere in the universe, they always ask the sun and the planet for permission. If permission is given, they may go ahead. These creator gods are here called founders or katistu. The founders then, if they so wish, create a new intelligent species, often based upon their own DNA to some degree. Thus, we created you in our image, and perhaps mix it with DNA from other species to create an interesting, unique effect. It may take some experimentation before they get it right and feel that their new species is sufficient. When the vessels, bodies, are created, the creator gods are asking for permission to borrow soul energy from the Mother Goddess to create souls avatars who can operate the bodies of this new species. So, at the same time as the bodies are created, the souls avatars are created as well from intelligent energy. Often, the urge to reach for the stars is embedded within the DNA of the dominant species of the planet, can be one or more species. Then the founders leave the new species alone and let them evolve by themselves, but are normally overlooking the experiment to see how it goes. If they are not pleased, they may adjust some things. At the same time, these same creator gods, who can split up into more fire avatar units, may create other life forms elsewhere, while their creations evolve and normally become creator gods themselves and go out to create their own species. When beings become founders, they first turn feminine, as a natural process, and stay that way from her young. Later on, the founders usually evolve further. Their fire grows with their compassion and understanding, and they become stars, who are always sentient beings, highly evolved, pulsating with fire. The star then splits itself into smaller units which become the planets and the moons, and eventually we have a newborn solar system. The planets themselves are very evolved beings, coming directly out from the womb or their star sun. Other creator gods who have learned how to go out and seed life will now come and ask for permission to begin the process of panspermia in this new solar system, and the star and the planets may approve, and the whole cycle starts all over again, like wheels within wheels, cycles within cycles. Eventually, the star evolves and becomes a nova or a supernova and leaves a cloud of stardust around it. The next step is normally that the star becomes a white dwarf and cools off while it is expanding elsewhere into something else. The planets that were orbiting the star usually follow the star in its development. Sometimes, often after a supernova explosion, a nebula is formed. This is the stardust remaining from the exploding star. However, from my understanding, this stardust is like a panspermia project in itself, and once a being is ready to become a star in its development, these clouds nebulas support the progress, and stars are born in these nebulae. 27. A star, whose next step is to become a nebula, doesn't necessarily need to inhabit its own stardust, but can, from what I understand, evolve and become a nebula elsewhere in the same galaxy. The nebula now gives birth to a cluster of stars who form their own planet, and the nebula becomes the parent and overseer. After that, it's time for the nebula to become a galaxy. She now is overseeing everything that happens in her particular galaxy, probably until the universe has reached its goal and starts retracting and imploding. The next step from there would be to become an overseer of a whole universe. The goddess may appear in a manifested version of herself and appoints the being. When the overseer of a universe is done with that part of its development, she may want to become the overseer of a whole pond, which is always created by the mother goddess herself, just like all the universes in that pond. So, now it seems like we've come full circle, but in fact, creation continues. If we use the analogy with the spider and the spider web, there are still infinite areas of potentiality that yet has to be created, so when needed, the mother goddess can continue spinning her web and creation continues. Is there an end to creation? From my understanding, the end is when the goddess decides to end it, if ever. A single universe is completed when it has completed its goal, which was set before it was created.